It's May 1. Or is it May 2? It's May 1 or May 2, 2020. It's afternoon now, so the light is different than normal. The sun's lower in the sky. I got a new or different camera. I had to make a bunch of adjustments to get it set up. The audio was more difficult. The audio in this camera is expecting stereo microphone, and I have a mono microphone, so it was playing out on one channel, so I had to find an adapter to change it from mono output to stereo. So you're hearing it in mono, but out of two speakers, if that makes sense. I wanted to talk about illusion, various aspects of illusion, what it means, how understanding of what illusions we're subject to can be useful, seeing them specifically. But I don't like to plan what I'm going to say. It never seems as authentic as when I'm just following where the universe leads me. So I brought some notes. I have a little pile of notes over the 6 months or a year old even, some of these, and I saw something in here. Exchange I had with a friend of mine in one of my groups. And of course it's about the illusion, his illusion, our illusions. Usually in the context of spiritual discussions, the illusion is the illusions are false ideas that we have. The mind does this. It can disregard the facts, disregard what is real, and the mind can make up thoughts that are not real, or are hence illusionary. So let's look at this. This good friend of mine, my same age, he was in one of my groups, wrote this note to me. I'll change the name and a few of the facts so you can't. I don't have his okay to mention his name. He'd be okay with it, I think, but even so. I've been meaning to talk to you face to face. I've been concentrating on my own shadow work, just like those who are in the know say, it's hard on the ego and it's injurious to my self-image. Parentheses, maybe that's one and the same. I'm glad I'm doing shadow work, Paul, but I can't say I like myself like I used to. However, I realize that some of what I liked about me was not real. It was definitely my false self, that is, how I think I appear to others and thus myself. I'm so protective of my self-image. What rings in my ears is the theory that when we see or know someone who has a trait or traits that we just detest, it's often because we see in that person those traits that we have and that we've repressed. I'm finally realizing that to be true. So he sees some traits in another person that he realizes as traits about himself that he has repressed. You know that I'm caring for my mother. It really doesn't take much. She's safe, warm, well-fed, comfortable, and doctored at a nursing care facility. I provide family support and love, run errands, and spend time with her. I answer her several calls each day. I love her. I have no reason to dislike her, but I do. She has so many traits that have driven me up a wall. it's funny because I used to see my mother that way sometimes. She could drive me up the wall. She's passed away a number of years ago, though. I don't want to be like her. Yet, upon examination, I see that I am in many ways like her. And my self-image does not like that. I've recently realized that in order for me to forgive myself for the detestable traits that I have to forgive my mother. But how do you forgive someone when you're not sure how they injured you? That's where I'm stuck. When somebody talks like that, I like to put myself in their shoes. Situation with his mother, how he feels about her and about himself, so that I can understand what he's saying and where the feelings are coming from. Okay, so let me read how I responded. Dear so-and-so, or just so-and-so, I have a few ideas for you to consider. I'll start at the highest level and work my way down. God loves you and your mom just like you are. That has always been the case, and that won't change. You are home free. Neither one of you have to be altered, changed, or corrected. I woke up this morning thinking what you said about you and your mother. You suffer. I don't want you to suffer. I was getting emotional thinking about it. I thought if I could get you to understand, you might forgive yourself, get over it, and feel better, you wouldn't be so hard on yourself. This much is true, his name. This isn't an illusion or your shadow. You are right. Your mother is all right. Oh, this isn't an illusion or a shadow. The following is not an illusion or in your shadow. You are all right. Your mother is all right. You love and you are loved. You were born by a miracle and you will die by a miracle. Everything is as it is supposed to be. You don't have to do anything. Okay. I got a response from him about this. And he said that was very meaningful to him. I'm going to be able to read and digest this. I'm not going to be able to read and digest this at work, he said. In 15 seconds I was crying. I think you hit a nerve. Thank you so much for your time on this. Your trusted friend, I'll read and eat this evening. Okay. So that was me starting at the high level and working my way down. Continuing. In a word, if you can and you're able, let go. How do you do that, you ask? Number one, I have steps 1 through 5. How to let go. It's kind of funny. Me trying to help somebody or teach somebody something. I'm not good at it. Just this is in particular me trying to explain how to let go. I'm an engineer. This fellow's an engineer. Okay. In a word, if you can, and you are ready, let go. How do you do that, you ask? Go into your feelings that cause you to suffer. Don't fight them. Go into them. Let the feelings wash over you. Stop the fighting. You are fighting. Give over to it, surrender, and stop the fighting. Some people should be with a professional psychologist or psychiatrist when they do this. I mean, going into the suffering, going into the shadow. That can be painful, and it's not for everybody. Number 2, feel bad, grieve, and cry about it. Number 3, forgive yourself, parentheses, for your perceived failures. Number 4, let go. 5, repeat as needed. Okay, well, that's pretty solid. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that if you can do it. I wonder if you can try that. These letting go instructions about something that's in your shadow. If you try that and it works or it doesn't work, can you let me know? Okay, I'm getting near the end now. Mostly those thoughts you have are your mind only. Those things you describe do not exist. It's your ego self fooling you. Your ego is making up things to fulfill your story. Stories in quotes. Your story is your false self story of who you are. He knows this. I'm not sure why I'm telling him this. He's an expert on this sort of thing. It's all an illusion, parentheses. It's not true. It's made up in your mind by your ego self, parentheses. The whole bottom part of your email has ego written all over them. Your ego wants attention. It does that by whispering stupid crap in your ear. As long as it's upsetting you, your ego is satisfied. That's why you do that. That's why you go in circles and you're stuck in your head sometimes. I do that. Everybody does. But ... This is where your spiritual training and all those books about your shadow can come in handy. I can reduce them into a few sentences, I think. Be aware of your ego self when it's talking crap to you. That's sort of like yesterday's video. The seeing is everything. I'll reread it. Be aware of your ego self when it's talking crap to you. Be awake. Be vigilant. Pay attention to your mind and what you are thinking. When you realize it's just the ego self, see what it's doing. Don't fight it though. Just be aware and do not fight. The ego wants you to fight. You with me? Being awake hinges on this. Just the awareness. Just being awake to that ego mind thing when it's happening. That's true, but that's not always easy. Okay, that's enough for today. I'm exhausted. I hope there's something useful above. Love, PR. This is a couple of years old. I don't see him too much anymore. Dropped out of the group. Okay, how does illusion fit into all that? The illusion, in this example, is his mind telling him that he doesn't like his mother because his mother has traits that he has. All the traits aren't real. Imagining that the reason he feels bad is because his mother has traits like his traits. Well, the traits aren't even real. Those traits can, all these traits that we have, these worldly traits. He's an angry kind of person. He's always upbeat. Those are traits, and those things can be changed easily and immediately. So they're not, their values and that we assign upon people. He's assigning ideas upon his mother that aren't true. They could be true, but his mind makes them seem real. That his mind says, my mother is like this. I'm like that. I feel resentment. See, that was all done in his mind. That's illusion. That's an illusion. There's so much to say about illusion, I don't know what to do with this. It's like the true self videos. It's better just to go see so you can experience it. Experience what is true and real so that you can see that the other things are false, they're an illusion. Breathing deeper and slow. Relaxing into the chair. Been doing a lot of thinking. I want to slow my thinking down. Can you do that too? Hear the breath as it comes out of your mouth. There's tree branches behind the camera. They're moving in the sunlight. I can hear some wind out through the window here. Sure is quiet in here. I was having a disagreement in one of my, I'll call it one of my church groups. It was about the illusion, about illusions, and about a illusion, the word illusion, how it's used in one of the books we're reading, or the book that we're reading. Pretty big, important book. And we weren't agreeing on it. And I made them, I asked them to go into that, what the book meant by illusion, because I wasn't on board with what I thought I was hearing. And they did. They're elders, they're smart. They know, they've got deep religious pockets. They know about these things, about what it says and what it means. I mean, what I wanted to say about that is, the next day, when I was reviewing what they were saying, I realized it wasn't important for me to agree with them. What was more important to me was that they were getting something out of that, and they said that they liked that. They liked the book's definition of illusion, and that it was helpful because they could better understand the false self. They could better understand. This is one man was saying this. You could better understand what's an illusion because the way that the book laid it out. And I thought, oh, that's pretty much the purpose of the book, so that you could move down the path. That man. So I want to leave that be. I want them to have what they're getting from the book. And there's no point in me trying to convince them that the book means something else. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to go for a ride on my bicycle. This is an exercise a day. I like to exercise every second and every third day. It's sunny out.